real problem is that they're not getting a homegrown, like Floridian, like sex criminal. They're importing one. It's like an H-1B visa situation all over again.
They're taking our sex pest jobs.
What's going on, you guys? So we have Emma Vigeland talking about the Tate brothers. The Tate brothers have been allowed back into America. Emma Vigeland is shedding light on this buffoonery. Let's get into it.
That Andrew Tate and his brother, who have been charged with human trafficking in Romania, are back in the United States. The United States lifted travel restrictions that had previously been imposed because of the well-documented human trafficking efforts. We had, what's it called? What's the name of that book that we had those guests on with Matt Shea and Jamie Tassin?
Clown World.
Clown World, yeah. Where they dove deep into the Andrew Tate world and even went to one of his kind of multi-level marketing scheme pimp.
They're pimps for cam girls. They entrapped young women that were basically looking for any sort of guidance, which is what sort of often happens with sex traffickers. And they were entrapped into making content for them online.
And people should check out that interview if they haven't yet, because it just shows how exploitative and really disgusting this is, where this new kind of online brand of misogyny culture, it's about using women essentially as gig sex workers and then disposing of them after you've exploited them. And it's not necessarily about controlling your wife in the marital sense. It's about humiliating women and tallying a body count, right? It's a very violent form of misogyny. And I think about this a lot, right? And the environment that we're in right now. That the Trump re-election this second time around was a lot of things. I think, it's about mass disaffection with the Democratic Party because of cost of living and housing being out of control. It's about Biden not being unable to use the bully pulpit and communicate with the public, so people didn't know anything about what the Democrats were doing, even the good things. And what they did know was, hey, there's a genocide that's happening on my phone. And then you have, though, broadly, a misogynistic backlash to the Me Too movement. And
here we have Emma Vigeland drawing parallels between the two cultures. We have the culture that the Tates have built, as brought to you by Clown World. And that book goes into the depths of how ridiculous that culture that Tate is spewing. This it's sort of this super hyper masculine, this macho, very, very disconnected from the feminine, how that culture relates very much to America's culture today, to, who we have as a president who will literally say things like grabbing them by the, we all know what he said. But, it's terrible, the parallels that's going on.
Trump coming into office, kind of generating that energy, or, it was the grab him by the P word tapes, more Me Too, Biden gets elected, and then we have really in this time period the rise of these misogynistic manosphere influencers, and Trump gets reelected, put up against a black female candidate who we talked about doing violence against openly at his rallies, and you kind of have this toxic misogynistic stew that I think we're living in right now. And frankly, when you look at fascist movements in the past, pairing misogyny with a cost of living crisis, it's had success for fascists historically. So it's scary. And it seems like Trump was integral in freeing Andrew Tate. And oddly, Ron DeSantis is pissed about it. We'll see more about this story, but Tate touched down in Miami, I guess earlier this morning, and Ron DeSanctimonious asked about it at the press conference.
Welcome here. What the state send back to Romania or whatever?
We have no involvement in that. I read about it through the media. Clearly, the federal government has jurisdiction, whether they want to rebuff his entry into the United States, and I have confidence that whether it's Pam Bondi or Kristi Noem, that they will be looking at that. I do know our Attorney General, James Uthmeyer, is looking at what state hooks and jurisdiction we may have to be able to deal with this. But the reality is no, Florida is not a place where you're welcome. with that type of conduct in the air. And I don't know how it came to this. We were not involved. We were not notified. I found out through the media that this was something that was happening. Okay, guys.
You know why it happened?
Because the Republicans supported a rapist with a fake university for president?
Kind of. And also, Barron Trump's a fan. Barron Trump's a fan of Andrew Tate and Aiden Ross and those guys. Yeah.
Is Matt Gaetz?
And Emma Vigeland is saying that Barron Trump is a fan of Andrew Tate. Of course, Barron Trump is a fan of Andrew Tate. And look at Barron Trump, his father is, he's an older man who is literally probably never in the house to take care of Barron. That's not really, foreign in this day and age. A lot of young men do not have fathers that are completely present, that are not showing their sons how to go about their day in a mature way, how to maturely express your feelings, how to maturely be in the world. Whenever you don't have a father that is able to, guide you in that sense, maybe as men might have had back in the day, but don't have anymore, we lead them into destruction. We lead these young men with nothing else besides these caricatures of what being a man is.
Seats still open because, I think Florida District 1 has to be represented by a sex criminal. So, they got to. I think
that's their DEI. Diversity includes some sort of quota for rapists.
Yeah, and I think the real problem is that they're not getting a homegrown Floridian sex criminal. They're bringing they're importing one. It's like an H-1B visa situation all over again.
They're taking our sex pest jobs. It's fascinating to see this, especially as the Trump administration is loudly advertising that they're going to release the Epstein flight logs. Why don't you release the files that are a little bit more pertinent in this case? I know that some of the stuff is redacted, but they are not going to release, in the same way that Trump is doing this head fake about the JFK files too. They can't release more information than a limited hangout on Epstein because of, Donald Trump's deep and close friendship with Jeffrey Epstein.
Pam Bondi was the Florida Attorney General when Epstein was getting let off. What this stuff is, when Trump talks about it, whether it's the UFO stuff or, which I think is probably the most meaningless of all this, but the UFO stuff or the JFK stuff, is he is announcing that he is taking note of bargaining chips. And if the CIA wants him to, say, not release the redacted Schlesinger memo where JFK talked about what he wanted to do to the CIA, which is one of the ones that is still being withheld, if the CIA doesn't want that released, then they should give him something in return for it, like they did last time, and when he kept it clear. And also the Epstein stuff, he is I don't know if Trump was in Dallas in 1963. He is a associate of Jeffrey Epstein, who is also a guy who Jeffrey Epstein fixed up Elon Musk's brother with a girlfriend. So all these guys are insanely implicated with what.
If you guys like this recap, make sure to like and subscribe for more.
Looks to be, if I had to guess, a massive mutual blackmail operation where they do communal sex crimes. This is just me spitballing. Communal sex crimes and have dirt on everybody else so they know nobody will talk. Because I do know another similarity between Epstein and Elon Musk is they're obsessed with spreading their seed as widely as possible in a really fucking weird way. And I would be shocked if they never discussed that.
So there we have it, you guys. We have Emma Vigeland calling out Andrew Tate, the Tate brothers. It's all very, very obvious what's going down. They have to continue to have this figure of debauchery in their circle, in the news, in the culture, whatever that is, whether that's Epstein, whether they're going to move Tate into that in that position, who knows? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. It's another day in the progressive way.